Good evening.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm getting ready to do the intro to the show.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, August the 11th, 2021. Welcome to the Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine show. I am your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. Again, like and share. It's the name of the show, Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. We are currently live on Facebook Live on my Facebook page. So please like and share. We are live on Groove Radio Detroit, and we are on live on YouTube as well as Spotify. So thank you again. Since we started this show last year of December, I told you I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're one person away, one advice away, one help away, or where you need to be in your destiny. Now that I said all of that great stuff, I let you know how I know the person or the guest that I have on tonight. Now, technically, I do not know her, but the good thing about social media, this is how you get to know people. Something popped on my page. I believe it was on Jarvis' page, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, where I saw your face and about this. We're going to get into it about the movie that you have coming out. And I was like, oh, that would be cool to feature someone who's an actress, who's from here, and put her out there and see what happens about it. So I've been telling everybody to get your snacks, get your popcorn, whatever you're gonna drink for the day. And we're gonna get into this lights, camera, action, right? So today I want you guys to welcome to the show Heather
Hello.
Neeley-Tibbets. Is that how you
Yeah.
say it?
hmm
Yay! Good job for myself. Good job. Good job. Woo! I was like, please, Lord, don't let me say her name wrong. But welcome her to the show. You hear all the audience. Woo!
Thank you for having me.
I'm so geeked and so excited to have you on the show. Um, let's get into it. So, you're from Detroit, correct?
Primarily, I was born in Colorado, lived in Lincoln, Nebraska, and then moved here when I was about 9.
You said Colorado?
hmm Colorado Springs, Colorado. Lived there till I was about 6, then moved to Lincoln, Nebraska. Yep. And then moved here.
Was that like military or something like that? Or they just
I get that question asked often. No, my dad worked for GM back in the
okay.
day, marketing and sales, so he traveled a lot.
Okay.
And we moved a lot. So
It had to be something. I'm like, Colorado?
yeah.
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Exactly. So I'm like, whoa, okay, it got to be some military, some reason, because I don't know too many people that just willingly go to Colorado or Nebraska.
Right, right.
Okay, so you've been here for a while now.
hmm
How did you get into acting? Was this something in school?
School. So I went to a private school, Detroit Waldorf School, and it's Rudolph Steiner School. So it's about the arts. And we did a lot of plays. And we didn't do just the traditional, kindergarten or elementary plays. We did like a lot of historical pieces. We've done a lot of Shakespeare. We've done a Mice and Men, and I just loved it. And I did that from probably 3rd grade through 8th. And then I went into high school and did sports and things like that. Kind of got away from it because my focus was becoming a doctor and drawing. So it was like architect or doctor. In college, I did a little bit of modeling. And then when I graduated, I fell back in love with theater by doing improv. and kind of dabbled in a little bit and then got more serious with it probably the last 4 years.
So, with acting, you said you started off like elementary, middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a pushing from your family to just, continue with it, or this is just something you wanted to do?
Just something I wanted to do. I have an older sister, but we didn't get to grow up together. So I was, as my mother calls, I was a ham, very silly, very creative. So I just like to perform. Yeah, and that's how it just happened. And I just kind of fell back in love with it. It was kind of like I kind of missed it, and the opportunity afforded itself. And from improv, I started having other opportunities and just went for it.
Wow. So the trailer or the promotion that I saw about the movie that you're going to be in had something big with mental health.
Yes.
And what I saw was, the S word that a lot of people want to shove under the door like it doesn't exist, and that what that S word I'm talking about is suicide.
Yes.
Let us in on how did you come across this particular piece?
So I truly feel like that particular piece was God ordained, and I can't even recall how I found out about, I think it was a friend of mine, I'm not sure. It may have been Christina Glover, I'm not sure, but they're like, it's this audition, so I went, and I would say midway through that audition, I knew something was being orchestrated. The sides alone were unique pieces, because it started out as a stage play, and the sides that we were given, it just tugged at me. And then meeting the other people who were in the play as well, they recognized some of those pieces as well, and they felt like it was a connection. So at the end, we were like, how did you know to give these to us? Because I didn't know the producer before, or the writer, Calvin Ray. So it was something really interesting. So from that, he was really trying to talk about mental health and suicide prevention. And so it just took on this awesome journey from there. And then coincidence, I'm a mental health social worker. So it really paralleled my life in a lot of ways.
Wow. Okay. So with that being said, with mental health, I was talking to a friend today, and it was like, wow, this is something I really want to tune into, because mental health is running rapid right now. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
on a whole, I would say, all-time high right now. And I was so excited, not just because of the movie, but because it has something to, of course, talk with mental health. I have said several times before on a show that I dealt with suicide thoughts off and on since high school. And I haven't had them in a while because I'm not in that space anymore. But I had people who had no idea that I was going through or struggling like that. So, as a mental health coach, what are some signs that people can see or look for when people are dealing with these type of issues?
Well, and let me just back up a little bit. Like you're dead on with it's a pandemic too. It's a silent pandemic. It's something for the first time that we can really try to erase the stigma, because everybody, people who have never had an issue with mental illness or depression or anxiety, with dealing with this COVID pandemic, we all can relate in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the signs, I mean, traditionally are, change in mood, change in the way we do our daily tasks. We all experience, some form of sadness, anxiety, we get overwhelmed, but when it teeters on the point of where it's interfering with your daily function, it's a problem. Some people become withdrawn. Some people find a vice, and it's usually unhealthy, and they go overboard. Your social life may become withdrawn. It's a number of factors, but the key thing too is everyone needs to check on each other, because even the best wear the mask well.
Mm-hmm.
And like you, I suffered from depression. I was diagnosed at 16. I tried to suicide attempts, had a lot of suicidal ideation, rape survivor, and I held all that in.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are signs which we definitely need to gently encourage and kind of help our loved ones. But the scary thing is there's a lot of people, the strongest wear the mask, and sometimes you just don't know.
Which is so true. We always talk about the strong need someone too.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we carry the weight of so many people and we don't have an outlet to get rid of it. And sometimes we take the place of God, unfortunately. Like,
Yeah.
we can solve everybody's problem. And when we I'm tired, I'm overburdened, it's getting to me, my body hurts and all of this stuff. And we never think that we're carrying other people's burdens. And like you said, the strong people wear masks very well.
Yeah.
You have no idea unless, oops, the bones start popping out of your mouth, and you're like, uh-oh, I didn't say too much, and now you were looking at me crazy, like, that can't be you. Why not? What do you mean?
Absolutely.
And so again, I'm so excited about this conversation because it's not being projected out there as we need help. And I don't mean throw necessarily medication at me, but having the outlet to go talk to a counselor, talk to someone whom you trust.
Absolutely.
Let me say that key word again. Trust.
Absolutely.
I can talk to you about what's going on in my head. I have as they said, this is not about me, but some people will say, well, I have trust issues. Yeah, at least so. You might have trust issues, but you have to find someone that you can trust so you can unload some of this things before those become your hanging noose.
Yes. Yes,
So
absolutely.
I thank you for sure. If nobody else says anything else, thank you for shedding the light on there's a serious mental illness health thing going on that we need to talk about.
Absolutely.
Where do you feel like we're missing the mark? Like, is it the parenting? Is it just society? Things that we see on TV? Where do you think all of this is stemming from?
It's kind of all of the above. I joke with my husband about, our kids, and, like, oh, these kids are soft now today. And, we did this and we did that, but each generation is different. And it's funny because I sound like my mother oftentimes, but these kids, she's always saying that only the times have changed, but everything just transpires. And I really do feel for our youth in particular, because social media, it's like they're living under this vast microscope. Thinking about when we went to high school, you could get away with certain things, or your business wasn't plastered. So it's like, imagine your most deepest secret, the most embarrassing moments that have happened to you in high school, whether you trip down the stairs to, oh my gosh, this guy found out something about me, and now it's instantly
Everywhere.
shared among the whole high school. And I really feel for these kids, because nothing is, privacy isn't sacred anymore. And they're constantly trying to compete with each other and trying to impress each other. So they're under a lot of pressure. And I think sometimes they have so much access to everything that they don't understand. They didn't have to do things in a logical manner or things like that. And I think with parenting, we kind of get caught up in the, well, what's wrong? You have this, you have all this stuff provided to you. But again, because of the pressure and because of the need to be popular, or the desire rather to be popular, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with parents. And I think parents, with the LGBTQ plus movement, it's a lot of kids that are, even in strong Christian households, they're like, oh gosh, they're feeling, conflicted. Do I come out, or I'm scared? Well, my dad's a pastor. I may get kicked out, or the family would reject me, or, it's so many things going on, from pregnancy to all types of things that are taboo in the household, especially with people of color, that they feel shamed. And so they hold that in, and like a teapot, it's got to go somewhere. So a lot of times, instead of reaching out to the parents, they hold it in. But parents have to be more aware, constantly ask the questions. And I know a lot of times we ask kids, how are you doing? Fine. And then they go to their room, but we kind of have to ask more, like, what happened today that made you laugh, or what happened today that made you upset? And parenting, we have to be a little more cautious, a little more careful. And then on the flip side, a lot of our men in society, they're taught to be strong, suck it up. But they feel, we women are multitaskers, and we can do this, that, and the third. But men feel very deeply, and when they don't have that ability to provide or have the answers, they want to have the solutions, and when they can't, that kind of tears down their own ego, and that's why a lot of men are suffering in silence. So it's so much that traditionally, we're taught as mental health clinicians, look for this, look for that, but everybody's affected. There is no cookie cutter way. The only thing that is absolutely real is that we have to check in on each other. We have to get rid of the stigma, let people know, hey, I need therapy. Well, I see a therapist too. Well, I see, because most of our mental health clinicians see somebody. I was just sharing with my daughter, I got to go back to start therapy again, because it's a lot. This mental health crisis is very taxing. I hear horrific stories. I hear people suffering. And, with the pandemic, a lot of resources are cut loose. So it's very overwhelming. And then we have our own lives. So if we could just let each other know and stop being so judgmental, and just letting people know, hey, I may not know your walk, but I'm going through something too.
And that's good. That's also helping to understand that you're not in this alone. Really
Absolutely.
is relieving a lot of pressure also, because a lot of people feel, I'm married, but I'm around a lot of single people. And a lot of people want what you have, not necessarily like I'm a snatcher or anything like that, but they, aspire for that. And sometimes they put a lot of pressure on themselves as feeling like, oh, I have these kids. Is somebody gonna want me? Or I made a lot of mistakes in my life. I'm like, honey, do you know how many are you? What? Like, do you understand how much stuff I didn't knock myself in the head doing before this even happened? Everybody has their own journey. So, honey, you're not alone. You're not alone.
Absolutely.
So, I know we talked about, I got stuck on mental health because this is very, very huge. I don't know if people who are listening or watching, mental health is one of the, I was reading the article the other day, it's one of, next to violence, is up there, like as far as the numbers is concerned. And so with that being said, I think a lot of more communication needs to be out about mental health, as well as suicide, all of these things, prevention, whatever. I remember a lot of the shows in the 80s, or I would say mid 90s too. At the end of the show, it would say something about the, I guess the 1-800 number about suicide, the number for those who have been involved in rape or anything like that. So I think we need to go back to that, because we need it. Just because we don't look like what we've been through does not mean or negate that we didn't go through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So with this movie that you're, when is the movie coming out?
The movie is called Listen to the Silence, the film, and it is premiering September 19th. There's two shows, 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. And the red carpet is an hour before, so 3 o'clock red carpet, 4 o'clock matinee, 7 o'clock red carpet, 8 o'clock screening.
And you said September 18th?
19th.
19th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'll be out of town. Oh, that just hurt my feelings.
Aww.
Yeah, I'll be in Tennessee for my actual anniversary. My first year anniversary is September 18th.
Well,
So we're going to Tennessee for a week. Oh man, I wanted to come.
Well, I do believe it's got a lot of momentum, and we're believing that I see it easily being streamed on many platforms. So I think you'll definitely be able to see it. And the website is www.listen2thesilence.com.
And I'll make sure when we get off, once it does the replaying, that is on there attached to it, so the people would support as well and go. So as far as once the movie goes to the theater and it has a great turnout, so it'll automatically go to like a Netflix or something like that, or
God willing.
right. So we're gonna make sure that it's being pushed and that everybody will come support you as well as the cast, those who had anything to do with the writing. So this movie will be a great success. Like I said, it's a great topic, and it needs to be out on screen. So people this would be a conversation that we have at home. This could be, as we call it, evangelism tool to bring into the home, bring into the churches or whatever that needs to be talked about with mental health. Also, is there anything else that's being as far as promotion out so the people will know what the movie is about other than social media?
So social media is the website. You can also, there's a lot of information being pushed under McNeil Productions. The writer and the genius and the producer is Calvin Ray, R-A-Y, and you guys can easily find him on Instagram and Facebook. So he's definitely got a lot of information, so definitely follow him. And he has tons of information about the movie and about mental health and suicide prevention.
So what exactly, or if you could tell us, what exactly is your role in the movie?
So I don't want to give away too much, but I play, let's just say, I don't know if I can give away too much. Let's just say I deal with a lot. I'm a pivotal person that's dealing with a lot in mental health. I don't want to spoil it too much. And,
okay.
But it's dealing with all types of levels and issues inside mental health as a whole. And it definitely, hones in on suicide, bringing awareness. And hopefully, I'll say this, watching the movie, we hope that if it just wakes one person up and feeling okay to reach out for help, understanding that we're more common than we're not alike. We have a lot more in common than we think that we're different. And to erase the stigma and get help, and to know that everybody, like you said earlier, we all have a story, we all have a walk. So we're really hoping that this kind of erases the stigma and gets people like, dang, this is similar to me, or this story relates to me. So let them know that it is okay. I always say everybody should be in therapy. Everybody should be, releasing, venting, whatnot. I'm concerned about those who don't. Honestly, life is hard. Life is beautiful, but the speed bumps can take our breath away sometimes. But if we're focused and we have a good support system, life can be amazing. And I want everybody to be able to feel that way.
Absolutely. And that is truly true, especially when you have trying to reach certain goals, your dreams, family, all of these different things that sometimes we take for granted. And like you said, something might hit and you have no idea, then it'll take you off course. And how are you going to get back on course?
Yeah.
And especially when you're the head of the household, um, when you're, like you said earlier, the strong one.
Yeah.
And so when it hits you and everybody's looking at you and depending on you, what are you going to do?
Absolutely.
You might not have a moment to stop. You might not have that. So you have to really encourage yourself or get help.
Yeah.
At least go to counseling once or twice, something.
Yeah. Or just find that, like you said, that person you trust, because the goal is be here tomorrow. We need you to be here tomorrow so we can help you, day by day. We can't look at the mass. It's overwhelming. But if we can just take one day at a time and just fight for tomorrow. Yeah.
Also, like in therapy, I know they would ask a question right after your answer, and it'll get you on the roll of getting out some thoughts that you probably would have never thought of, or getting your mind to shift in a whole different direction. Like sometimes we go through things and we're just stuck right here.
Yep.
We can't see past, I'm gonna ever get over this, or and so what do you say, or how do you get a person to realize that there is light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, I'll say that betrayal is real. Most of us are hurt because of betrayal in some form or fashion, whether it was a loved one, whether we were physically or sexually abused or assaulted, whether a loved one left us. At the end of the day, it can come to betrayal. Or it's that teetering of I'm feeling I'm out of control and not being able to hold on to those reins. But I would encourage people to reach out to get help, even if it's just that one family member you can trust, because like you said, we get stuck at that one point, and the therapeutic process in itself is to help you. It doesn't, hey, sit down, let me just tell you what you need to do. It's to help us, like you said, that shift of looking at things from a different perspective of, okay, you may not have been able to get closure on a certain thing, but you can create your own closure. If you could, face that person that hurt you, what would you say? And even if they didn't do what you wanted, having that power to say, what you did wasn't okay, but you no longer have power over me. It's getting to that place of, like Oprah said, I think forgiveness is, what is it? Giving up the hope that you can change the past, pretty much, and just moving forward today. You get to take your power back and do what's best for you. You don't have to live under that person. And to know that everybody doesn't have it all together. The smartest, we just don't have it all together. The bravest, the brightest, we all feel overwhelmed, and it's okay not to have the answers. So I would encourage people to be kind to themselves, really be kind to themselves, and find out why are they holding themselves to such a high level of having it all together. So it's different ways to look at it. And hopefully, they can give themselves that chance to just kind of pause, and wherever that tender spot is, it's like peeling the layers of an onion. We got to get to that hurt and then slowly heal from that.
Mm-hmm. So with the much success of this movie, again, with the mental health, are you looking for another project that's similar, or you want to do something different?
I love acting as a whole. So pieces that I hear about, of course, that touch me or inspire me, I'm definitely open to them. But I would love to do more mental health because of the state of the world that we're in. And with this mental health crisis, I would love to do that. Yeah.
So have you thought about even writing your own piece?
Oh my gosh. Uh, my mind is a funny thing. I'm always writing or having some ideas. And I was just telling myself that I need to start with a notebook, just jotting down ideas. I would love to. I admire those writers. The idea used to scare me. Like, I don't know how to do it, but I would love to. I would love to.
I think sometimes when it's so close to home, it would be easier to write because not for you, you know it clinically, you know it for yourself, you know the stories you've heard, not to say, disclosing anything like that. But again, if it's never brought across us or out in the open to talk about, people will have no idea what other people have like mastered, or we look we're so cool to put up the dress codes and get your nails and your feet done, put on some makeup. You have no idea I had a rough day today. You have no idea the thought processes that was going through my head today. And maybe one more moment I could have, that last thing might have been it for the day. And then you read the obituaries and you like, well, you hearing everybody say, well, this person was so good and I don't understand. I'm lost. Why would they do that? Did you ever ask the question, how are you doing? Did anybody check on me? Do you know how many friends I have where they say their family members don't call and check on them?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a sad number.
Mm-hmm.
So people, check on your people. Today, were you affected by the storm today?
No, thank God. Lights flickered a little bit, but other than that, no, I was good. Very thankful.
Well, we saw it coming. I called my husband. I said, be careful. He like, well, I'm in this. Listen, I'm still going to say, be careful. Anything can happen. Absolutely. I was getting text messages and messages on Facebook that power was out. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the freeway was flooded. Different things that have been happening in the city of Detroit every time it rains lately. And so again, if I'm not that type of person to call and check on someone else, I could be that person that be feeling some type of way that nobody's concerned about me.
This is true. This is true.
And that's the problem with
so many people suffering in silence. Either they don't have that person or they're worried about branching out and calling those 1-800 numbers or calling our local Detroit Wayne County mental health authorities and getting help. That's why a smile goes a long way. You never know how many lives you save just from a stranger meeting eyes and smiling. People are praying, Lord, if I'm meant to be here, can you give me a sign? You never know how God's using you. You never know what your gentle hi, how are you could do, just in passing. And I think if we just start to love each other a little bit more and being more kinder and getting back to walking in love, we would be much better off.
As they would say, I don't care how much you talk, but your actions speak louder than words.
Absolutely.
And I was at a particular job and I was the first person that they saw every time they would come in to work. And I made sure that I was bubbly, I was smiling and all of this stuff. And when it was time for me to go, they literally cried.
See?
They literally was like, what we gonna do without you? And I'm thinking, you gonna live. But because of what I brought to them every day, when they didn't feel like getting up at 4:00 in the morning every day, I was up, gave them hugs. I did all of this because I know what it feels like to go to a job when the job don't care about you, let alone what's going on at home.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for this conversation that is coming out, that we need to go back to caring for one another.
Yes.
Speaking, smiling, hugging, whatever it takes, to make sure that your cousin, your aunt, your mom, whoever, especially like the elderly that
Mhm.
might not have any family members anymore.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. A little gesture goes a long, long way, and you never know how powerful your presence can be to somebody.
I knew also when my dad was sick, um, we would bring my niece and nephew around a lot. And he was like, I just love seeing my grandkids. And so I believe that was his gesture of staying as long as he could just to see his grandchildren. And, us being around as a family, and, the memories and all of these things. And so we have no idea, just going to the hospitals. I know probably right now they're not letting us just, go like we used to, be able to go to the hospital and pray for people, and just say hi, bring the kids to the hospitals on Christmas Day, have them singing carols and all of those things. Those were the things that I remember people would say that they remembered, that somebody cared about me, that I didn't know me, brought me a gift, didn't know me, but it just made something happy for them. And
Yeah.
so I'm, like I said, I'm rooting for great success for this movie.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for great success for you to actually write this down on
Thank
paper.
you. Thank you.
And then one day I will be reading either a manuscript or an actual book of overcoming this. Um, so I'm geeked about it. I'm super, super geeked. Now, now that we got that out of the way, so
Mhm.
how is it, or what do you do to balance your life as a wife, as a mother, as a therapist, as an actress, all of these hats that you wear? How do you balance?
I'm still working on that. My biggest thing is time management.
Mm-hmm.
Bad, 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 bad. But time management. And I'm slowly getting back into my vices. I love to draw, but I haven't drawn in a long time. So drawing, music. My husband's my best friend. I have blessed with a wonderful, 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 wonderful group of friends. Um, and I just try to be more mindful. And it's funny, it's like I know how to look for it in everybody else, but for myself, I'm still learning that, okay, Heather, you're feeling like this. Okay, you're feeling, I call it glitchy, to where I know how to push myself. I'm very disciplined, and I can push myself beyond reason, and listening to my body, and trying to carve out time. I started back in doing yoga and exercising in the morning. That has really helped. I started maybe about going on 2.5 weeks now. That really gives my mind clarity. It gives me some peace, in the morning before I start my day. Um, I read the Bible in the morning, start purposing my time, reading positive affirmations in the morning. So, and there's other ideas I have, but that's where I am right now. And, some days, if it doesn't start out the way I want, I just kind of refocus and just think positive. Like my husband posted, he shared something this morning about, don't let one moment ruin the whole day. It was a moment, tiny little moment. When it passes, refocus and purpose your day. But a lot of times we let that one moment expound like this cloud of negativity. At the end of the day, we have this horrible mood, so just being mindful, being humble. But yeah, it's a process, for me. But I try to be mindful and do the things that I can, and I'm working on letting go the things that I can't handle and that I don't have control of. So
And
that's my walk.
that's the wow. That's the heavy one right there. Especially when you're a person who is strategic, you kind of routine. Um, And so when you have those moments, you like, okay, give me a moment. I don't need to be around nobody right now. Let me go into the closet real quick and then give me a moment and I'll be back.
Absolutely.
And that comes with maturity. A lot of times we will hash off, and they'll be like, what is wrong with you? And I'll be like, I have to come back and apologize and be like, you know what? That would have nothing to do with you, but I was just having a moment and you just got the end of it. And so before I spew everything on someone else, I'd rather be quiet and then, slowly get back into, what I was doing for the day. And so again, when you understand yourself and how you function, it's better for not only you, but everybody around you. So you're not like the bridezilla around here cutting people's heads off.
There it is. And recognizing too, what may work for one may not work for you, but finding what really gives you peace and happiness. I love the water. If it's just me going downtown to sit by the water, if it's listening to your favorite, song or whatever it is, that's what people need to do. And to just start off with that.
And that's good too. Because like I said, when you have been through so many, as we say, tests and trials, and you didn't get into a place where you are at peace. I have to protect my peace at all costs.
You have to.
Because it took me too long to get here, and I can't deal with foolishness. And no, I can't do it.
Right. Absolutely.
It took me too long. I don't know how many, 3 or 4 counselors, I think. And then just getting into that place that I can't. That's not me. That's not me. I've let too many people. This is a word for somebody. Stop allowing people to control you. Get your power back.
Absolutely.
Please don't allow people to control you. You have your own mind.
Absolutely.
So absolutely. When you get out of abusive relationships, this is another word for somebody. If you've been in abusive relationships, you went through a divorce, you went through whatever those traumatic times are, when you find yourself, this is why I said it's very important to guard your peace at all costs. You knew what it took. You knew how long it took you to get out. Why would I stay? Why would I allow anyone else to get me back or put me back into a jail cell? I can't do it. I'd rather be by myself. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Goes back to that shift. Gotta love ourselves. And we can't control people, but we can control how we handle things. We can control how we respond to the situation, because people are always going to have an opinion. They're always going to say something, but definitely when we're mistreated or in a relationship of abuse, we got to dig deep and be brave and just take that step.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said the word brave. It takes braveness,
absolutely.
Courageous, being bold.
Yes.
I told my friend, she says, I admire how bold you are and how it seemed like you're fearless. I said, listen, for so long, I allowed someone else to dictate who I was. Me being depressed and all of these crazy thoughts, and because I couldn't do what I knew was right to do for me. I can't go back into that. So those moments, the people that are in my circle now, who I know truly got my back, who I truly trust, know when Camila is off, they're praying me back, or they'll come and call or come and find me. Like, what's going on? This ain't you. Now I have that circle. Like you said, you're blessed with people that you could trust. I have a husband who really knows when I do certain moves and how I look and all of these things. He knows me inside out. Before I could say anything, he already, what's wrong, babe? You
Yep.
okay? What's wrong with you? I didn't have that before. So now
Yep.
that I have somebody who's here, who's constantly like, that's my best friend, he could talk to me and talk me off the ledge, as they say. And
That's a
I'll
beautiful
listen.
thing. Mhm. Yeah. We have to be attentive and intentional, you know.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's not just because um even with my siblings, even with, my mom who's still alive, um, and even with my husband, I have to, just like he's attentive to me, I have to be attentive to him. He
Yes.
has moments too. Uh, and he could, fly off the handle. And at that wrong moment, if I'm not in my position, in my place, he might blow up at the wrong person. And then I'm going down to the jail, just, or something worse.
Mhm.
So as Heather said from the beginning, we have to learn to be concerned about other people. You don't know their story. You don't. We
Sure
put
don't.
on makeup and do something to our head and all of this stuff, and we do what we have to do to make it. But you don't know what I did, what I had to go through today. You don't
Absolutely.
know. Um, and I was talking to Kawana Brown. She's running for mayor of Detroit. She was on Monday, and she so happenly was at the incident where the kids were shooting at the football game.
Yeah.
And I was telling her I so happenly um, was running down the timeline, and a father was saying that his daughter had practiced all night the night before for the halftime show for cheerleading. And that situation happened. And he said the look on his daughter's face
Yeah.
was worse than watching a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I responded, well, if this did this to you, just imagine what it did to these kids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, they
A lot
need
of trauma.
counseling, serious trauma.
Yeah.
Um, and so I said, everyone that was there, I recommend go see someone, go talk to someone, because that's not just something that's the norm. You see that in movies, you see something crazy like that there, but to see it happen in real life, especially at those young age, I couldn't imagine. The man said his daughter shook all night and cried all night.
Yeah.
Um, and so those things you can't get back. Basically, somebody stole their innocence.
Absolutely. And that's, you just hate when those things happen. But I would encourage the parents of all that were there, or loved ones that were there, to just be flat out, with these kids. Just ask them, when this happened, how did it make you feel? Because kids are kind of guarded, and parents don't always know. Well, what questions should I ask? Just flat out, that was scary. Don't do the presumptive answer of, that was such and such, right? Just ask them, what, how do you feel when that happened, or you couldn't find me? What were you thinking? Because it'll give them. They didn't have control in that moment, but they can have control in expressing how they felt in that moment, and to know that their feelings are respected and understood, and so you can help work through whatever those traumas are.
So what do you also say to parents? I also saw that a lot of the kids now there might be older kids, but now like they're urinating on themselves in the middle of the night
Mhm.
because of this situation. What do you say to them about this situation?
um, be consistent in talking to them, because that's a big indicator of anxiety and trauma. From
Okay.
that, that means they have a height level of anxiety. They may have flashbacks if they hear a boom. They may, if they see crowds or people shouting, that can trigger them too. So just be very, very, very mindful. Watch them intently. And if they see their child, kind of experiencing heightened level of anxiety, to just calmly let them know that it's okay, that they're there with them, and to encourage them to express how they're feeling, and if they're like, okay, I don't want to talk about it anymore, that's okay too. But to keep being consistent, to work through it, because unfortunately, there's going to be other incidents. We pray that they're not in the same situation, but for them to know that there's someone there to kind of help them work through it, because if something does happen again, it can empower them to know, okay, I'm gonna be okay, or I understand this feeling. This feeling is okay. I don't have to clam up and shut down, because the urinating, the shaking, sometimes stuttering, aggressive behaviors. They may start fighting or screaming. Those are all just because they're overwhelmed and they don't know how to express it.
Wow. Well, like I said, this is the conversation that again needs to be out. Again, we will be pushing for the movie. And once we're off, I will make sure that the information for the movie is tagged with this show. So people will be able to see it, go support it. Whatever I need to do, I will definitely do that. Again, I wish I could actually see it in person, but unfortunately, I will be in Tennessee. But again, thank you so much for taking the time out. I enjoyed this as well. This was sort of like my therapy that I do. When you have been through the ringer, you've been through hell, you then came out, you're still coming out. It's my duty to bring people on to get help, to get advice, to get support, whatever it is. And once they listen to the show, they feel better. That again, you see a survivor, and they're making it, so can you. It's all about hope and faith. You did say you were a victim or a survivor of rape, correct?
Yes.
So if she can do this, then you can.
Stronger than we know. We really
absolutely.
Are stronger than we know. And to you, please keep doing this. You are a light in this world, and you have no idea who you're affecting and how you're helping them. So kudos to you, and I pray this flourishes and keeps going.
I'm going to continue. I'm going to try. I have been all day on social media, reaching out to different celebrities, reaching out to different people that I know. We got some big people coming on soon.
Awesome.
It surprises me all the time, but this is God ordained. This is not me.
There you go.
He told me this year, in matter of fact, before my birthday in January, he told me that I was going to become the help that I once needed.
There we go.
Here I am talking to you.
There we go.
And we're talking about mental health, and we're talking about a movie that's gonna hit all of these that we've talked about tonight. I had no idea, like I told you, or anybody that comes on my show, I'm just telling you now, I don't research you. I don't make up questions and all that stuff. You literally getting just like it is right now. I have no idea.
Absolutely.
So it's authentic. That's why I love this show. It's really authentic. I'm sitting up here on the top of my head. Okay, ask her this. What she say about this? This is how this goes. And then whatever happens, that it is what it is. And so God did this. I didn't. And so I thank you again. I know that this movie is going to be a success for the simple fact that the world needs this.
Yes.
The world needs this conversation. I'm putting it out here as an evangelism tool that everybody, eventually, maybe that's showed in the school. Who knows? because they do have, prevention days, awareness. So we are saying we're gonna put it in the atmosphere, God, that
Absolutely.
we want this movie to be an evangelism tool in the schools, anywhere that prevention with mental health is concerned, that they will be able to use this movie, even if they have to use it in their sessions. I don't know what you're gonna do with it, God, but we know it's gonna blow up. We know it's gonna blow up.
It'll be fantastic.
Even if it has to be a part two to it, I don't know. If Heather sits here and eventually, after success of this movie, she understands that she has more to give than what she's doing, that she can sit here and write exactly what you tell her to write, and it becomes another success. There's no cap and no limit to mental health awareness. So we thank her. We thank God that you allowed this time for us to sit here in our comfort places to talk about mental health. Again, the movie is coming out September 19th.
Yes.
What theater will it be doing the red carpet?
The details will be on the website, or again, I believe it's www.listentothesilence.com. It's a number 2, so listen number 2 thesilence.com. Or you can also look up Calvin Ray, Calvin, and his last name is Ray, Ray. He's on Instagram, and he's also on Facebook. And you can also go on my page as well. We'll be posting a lot. So there's a lot of information on the premiere.
Okay. So again, we will be looking out for this information. Tonight I will post on this and I will tag Calvin Ray so we can actually get it around here. This is not just a Michigan thing. We want the whole world to actually see this movie. And we're pushing so it will actually go to live streaming, which will be even greater. So we thank you again, Miss Heather, for taking the time to talk to me, and much success to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome, and I will see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.